And children have been hearing this silent cry, and now it's an outward cry. And I think right now we have to talk about the balancing, okay? And we've talked about the erosion, but how do we heal that? We heal that through balancing. We heal that by applying tools. We heal that by giving an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry, an outlet to speak. Sometimes it's just the company we keep, right? To letting them know that, yes, you can be heard. And then also too, we talked about the masks and the fact that they are a silent barrier that is applying a lot of social pressure on children who want to be seen for their abilities and not for the color of their skin. So there are so many demographics to this problem where we're looking at these things, but how do we target them all when we know as therapists we're a part of a healing capacity, but because ourselves, we are also oppressed. So we're the oppressed helping the oppressed, and this is big. And a lot of times we talk about this, but we don't know how to amend it. So I think especially with your YouTube series and us just opening the gateways of communication, we should come to viable solutions, solutions that work, solutions that are going to help us as therapists help one another. Because we are also the silent, oppressed. And we have to talk about the things that we are facing.
Absolutely.
Because we do leave conversations and sessions with post-traumatic stress.
Absolutely.
And this is not being approached. So how do we combat that? How do we get through this course of suffering, through this pandemic? Where are our resources to amend the oppressed? And this is big.
That's a huge point. I was reading an article on Wednesday about that, about the increase of demand on mental health support and the demand on mental health workers, the therapists, and just how it's astronomical right now. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as people rest in the knowledge that, wait a minute, this thing I'm feeling isn't actually going away. I need to talk to somebody. And because we know that trauma and stress, they have a long window. And so the question really was, what are the healthcare professionals? What are the therapists? What's in their toolbox to assist them with burnout, with vicarious trauma, with those things, being that ear and that bearing that silent witness to the pain and trauma of a multitude of people. You need an outlet. And so perhaps when we finish going through the PowerPoint, we can discuss amongst us what our outlet, what options we are exploring to alleviate the burden of the trauma we're enduring on a regular in helping the clients. This was a really good point.
So just like you led into the point that I was talking about is how toxic is stress. So imagine you have a child, but let's now paint that child a Black child. So you have stress in a family before COVID, and now you have stress in a family during COVID. That stress is magnified to the 10th power. It weakens the child's development. It weakens their sense of high alert. They're always on alert. They feel unstable. And then this now leads into systemic issues where they're unbalanced for learning. They're unbalanced in behavior. They're constantly in fight and flight. And as you can see, we have the we have the diagram of the normal brain and what it looks like, and the normal firing. If you could go back to the next one.
There we go.
So you see the normal firing.
Sorry.
That's okay. So you see the normal firing.
Yeah.
And then you see a brain affected by toxic stress.
Yes.
So this is embedded stress. This is stress that's already been impacted within the cell structure of a child. So this is somebody who's gone through post-traumatic stress disorder and then now is facing another traumatic event.
Yes.
So it's the fact that there are less healthy firing connections within the brain. Yeah. So the child is suffering on such a traumatic level, but it's not being seen because they're not already being heard.
Yes, yes.
And that's the biggest issue right now.
Yes.
How do we fix these issues?
Yeah.
How do we deal with these problems?
Yeah. Yeah. Invisibility, huge. Invisibility and silence, huge. Absolutely.
Next. So again, like I was speaking about stress, also talking about the nervous system and the vagus nerve. And the fact that a lot of times we don't think that the stress that we feel is affecting us. But it is.
Absolutely.
It's the fact that the body is not able to navigate as quickly as it used to. Movements are decline. Alertness is on an ultimate high. The fight, flight, and freeze. I'm seeing this with a lot of children that I deal with, that the fact that they are always in this motion, and I have to teach them or talk to them about being, instead of being reactive, how to be responsive. So I have to go back to basic amends of what they were supposed to learn while they were younger children. And the fact that I have to now fix this thing because they're always in a state of fight. They're always in a state of freeze. They're always in a state of fight. So how do you become responsive after that? If all you know is, hey, if I hear a loud sound, I need to get up and run. If I hear a bang, I need to get duck. If something crashes, I gotta go. So it's big and it's taxing, especially because if it's been normalized for so long, how do you amend an issue that's so embedded within the system?
Yes, absolutely.
And it's the fact that they don't know how to be responsive from reactive or rest and digest. These are issues. These are things that we have to look at. These are things that parents need to understand. The parents need to understand that's the reason why when Black therapists see Black children, they take that extra hand and they give them the resources that they know that sometimes they cannot afford, but need so direly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're battling stuff that you might be able to look on the surface and see certain behaviors, but that's just the surface. Underneath is a heightened and like a hyper-vigilant system that is responding in a reactionary way to triggers and traumas and things that we don't see as triggers and traumas. You know, a simple the dropping of a pen on a table, a sudden loud noise, or a slammed door from the wind. Like I've one of my bedrooms, if the window's open, the door slams, and you can just see the sudden reactionary response to a slammed door, and it sets off an entire physiological reaction that is really responding not to the slammed door, but to an internalized, unaddressed issue of trauma. And we need to have, number one, the language for that, and number two, an understanding of how to address that in our children and, dare I say, in ourselves. Because as much as this is applicable and speaking specifically about the children, it really is a truth for an adult as well. Because if this child grows up, that child will still have that activated vagus nervous system that they don't have tools to address. So oftentimes I work with adults who function very much like the children that I started out my practice with. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you ring the bell? Can you subscribe to this channel? Can you share this message with friends and family? Let them know. Black therapists speak. Bye now.